A couple of weeks ago, I uploaded two videos called 8 lesser known mods for Fallout 4, basically showing you some mods that maybe came out quite a while ago that were quite cool, but maybe not as well downloaded, or they didn't get as much attention as they probably deserved. A lot of the time, this is due to mods being released kind of in the shadow of other larger mods. So a big mod release like Sim Settlements or something like that does come out, and then all the mods that were pretty cool, but maybe not that large, kind of got way less attention than they normally do, hence this series where I'm showing you some of those. The past two times I showed you 8 mods, this time I don't have as much time so I'm only showing you 6 mods, and as always when compiling these lists in the series, I would love to see suggestions in the comments down below. I typically reference previous videos, because it honestly is kind of hard to find lesser known mods because they're lesser known. Either way, with that being said, if you guys do enjoy the content, you could leave a like or a comment, but we'll just jump into the video. To start things off, we do have the Satojomov Armory, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's basically the guy's name, Satojo, and he did make an armory mod which is going to add in a bunch of attachments for some of the different weapons in Fallout 4. This is pretty cool because you could actually really change a lot of the different guns that are in the game. This is going to be including different barrel types, different stocks, and it kind of makes the guns look almost like other mods out there. I think while making this mod, he actually got a lot of inspiration, like some of the pistols now do have an extended stock on them, so it looks almost like a rifle. And really what this is going to do is kind of flesh out some of the vanilla weapons. They're still going to be their same base with the same animations and sounds, but some of them now do have new attachments that really make them stand out and feel a little bit more special or unique. It's a fairly minor mod, again, it's only going to add in new attachments, but some of these attachments do have fairly large differences. Some of the attachments in this allow you to more or less change the Thompson into a proper Tommy gun and the combat rifle into a proper M1 Garand. This is pretty cool, and just getting some more functionality for those same vanilla guns is always something I welcome. Then we do have horror at the prison camp. So this is going to be a Starlight Drive-In overhaul, but also a quest mod. This is pretty cool because one, it's a quest mod, which we have so few of, and it's a pretty interesting quest mod, having a scary undertone, but also it's going to transform or overhaul Starlight Drive-In, having a bunch of new structures there that you can use in settlement mode, but even more importantly, pretty much all the changes made to Starlight Drive-In through this mod you could actually delete in settlement mode. So if you want the good old Starlight Drive-In, it'll be there, you just have to delete some things first. Naturally with quest mods, I don't want to give away too much, but again, it's a pretty fun one. It's only an hour or two depending on how long or how low level you are, and it really just didn't get enough attention. Quest mods are always highly requested, but I feel like people never actually end up playing them, and this is one of the ones that I feel like has a nice long-lasting impact on the game. There's a new structure at Starlight Drive-In, but this mod is going to give you some justification and reasoning for that structure being there. Alright, so this is one I got literally hundreds of questions about, and this is going to be called the generic Compact HUD. I featured this in Mods Weekly a while ago, and I guess people just didn't watch that episode or something. People ask me all the time, what is that HUD mod that I used in some of my videos, because I kept it on and used it in some subsequent videos after it. It's more or less going to be a Def UI preset, which is another mod for Fallout 4, allowing you to change around some of the elements of the UI. So you download Def UI, then you download generic Compact HUD, and you get a HUD that only interacts with the bottom corner of your screen, which I feel like really ups the immersion factor and just keeps the screen way less cluttered. If you're like me and think playing through Fallout 4 with the menus off or TM in console does make it just feel way more cinematic and immersive, this is going to be a great mod for you because, again, it just kind of minimalizes everything into one little small corner without actually removing much of the HUD elements. Then we have Respawn Relays. This is actually a really cool mod. It's kind of a complex one, but I'll try and simplify it. More or less, you're going to be able to now at settlements set up these little things called Respawn Relays. After dying now, you're going to respawn at that relay with something happening to you. There's a lot of other death mods out there, so there's ones where you'll just kind of have your save wiped and that's permadeath. In survival mode, it'll reload the previous save, but I also don't really like that because it feels like you're losing progress, which no one wants to have. Respawn Relays is going to make it so the world largely stays the same. You're not reloading to a past autosave, you're just being teleported back to your settlement. The configuration part comes in with sometimes you can actually lose certain amounts of your items or caps. Again, this is configurable, so you may be able to lose everything in your inventory or maybe only some of the more valuable things, so there's some cost to death but not as massive as one. And in addition, you can go back to that old location with whoever killed you and actually get some of those items back. It's a really cool mod, and I feel like it's a very different way of playing through Fallout 4. I think using this in tandem with survival mode could create a pretty awesome experience that's a little bit harder than using autosave, but not as difficult as using the full kind of just reverting back to a save where you have to sleep in a bed. And then we have adaptive windmills. This is a super simple mod that I think is pretty cool. Basically, windmills will generate power based on how high they are, or their elevation. That's kind of how it works in the real world. As you see windmills, they're super high up in the air. Well, now in Fallout 4, if you build a tower and put a windmill on top of it, it'll generate a good amount of power. But if you just have it at the base or right at sea level, it's actually going to generate a little bit less power than it used to. Again, I think this is a pretty cool concept for a mod. I think it deserves some buffs, which I believe the mod author is planning on bringing to actually make it a little bit more powerful if you do build a tower. But either way, a little bit of immersion, I guess, and something that I just found to be pretty cool.
Real trouble here.
And then last but not least, one mod that I'm kind of shocked isn't getting more attention is Project Cyberdog Rex Dog Meat Replacer. It's a mouthful, but more or less Project Cyberdog is actually a larger mod aiming to overhaul dog meat in the game and actually give him a ton of customization options. One such option was Rex, the dog that did appear in Fallout New Vegas. It's not an exact recreation of Rex because the mod author said he couldn't actually do that in Fallout 4 in some of the ways dog meat works. There'd be like clipping and stuff, but it's pretty close, and it more or less makes dog meat into a robot dog, and like Rex. He's still going to act like dog meat, just like Rex kind of still acted like Rex no matter which skin you placed on him, but I feel like it just makes it a lot cooler. It makes it a lot more interesting of a companion, and if you've been playing through Fallout 4 for hundreds to thousands of hours, something small and minor like this actually goes a pretty long way. Plus, everyone loves Fallout New Vegas, right? Everyone talks about how that's the best Fallout game ever, so getting some more Fallout New Vegas in Fallout 4 is always welcome. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. For today's psychology fun fact of the day, it's not really a fun fact about anything in particular, just about articles. So a lot of times, if you don't know, basically the way something works or something gets published in psychology is someone does research and then submits it to a peer-reviewed journal. And then normally other PhD or PsyD holders are kind of the review or moderator board for that journal. They'll read through the article and determine if it deserves to be submitted or not, or kind of elevate it more than someone else reads it, whatever. Even if something's published in a journal, if it's not recreated, it's not really substantiated. So a lot of times, especially on websites like Reddit or Facebook, you see singular things being posted. So like some study, even if the study was done amazingly, found a result and now it's being spreaded as this amazing thing. As cool as that is, oftentimes you really can't trust those results until recreation studies are conducted. That's another thing people do, more or less. I will try and copy that study as closely as possible and see if my result matches theirs. If it does, then you probably have something pretty significant on your hands. One example of this is actually somebody that was doing an experiment trying to raise IQ, which obviously is a huge deal. There's nothing right now that could really raise your IQ, but these people apparently found it, and they actually recreated once within their own lab to ensure the results before publishing their paper. It was a fairly young person at the time, and they published their paper and got a ton of attention because it was published in one of the top psychology journals. And if you don't know, getting published in top journals is kind of how the job works when you're in academia. So they probably got a huge pay increase and really a lot of job security as a result of that. Well, lo and behold, after like I think 11 or 12 attempts at recreation, nobody could recreate those results. And despite their initial study actually being pretty foolproof and looking like they did everything by the book, it seems like that initial claim that this thing can actually raise your intelligence was totally BS. They didn't know that at the time. It's not like they falsified information, it's just nobody was able to recreate it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As always, again, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video as with the rest of them, and if you want to see some more content or the last episode of the series, I guess, you can click on screen right now to check that out.